Hello, it's Jeanette with G Amazing Paper Crafts. Thank you once again for joining me for another video tutorial. Today I have a box, a little square 3x3 box. It's approximately 3 by 3 inches and about an inch deep. And I'm making this box to store this bar of soap. This is a handmade bar of soap that I picked up at a local craft show that I went to recently. And this soap is like laced with lace. It's actually got lace wrapped around it, and the company's name is Laced with Lather. It's so cute and it smells wonderful. Well, I want to gift it, so I decided that I'm going to be making some boxes for the soaps, and this is what I've done. I've used some of the Stampin'Up's new birthday bouquet designer series paper, and this is in, I believe, Pool Party, and this gorgeous this is ribbon, rather. This is some beautiful glitter ribbon that I'm going to be using on these boxes. Well, I'm going to show you how I made it, okay, and I'm going to, of course, use a different piece of DSP from the same stack. I'm going to be using this one here, and then this piece measures 5 1/8 inch square, so it's 5 1/8 inch by 5 1/8 inch. Okay, and then for the base, or the bottom part, I am going to be using a piece that measures 6 inches by 6 inches. Okay, so let's get started. The very first thing you're going to do is make the base. Well, that's what I'm going to do anyway, and I'm going to bring out my Simply Scored scoring tool. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to bang it. All right, I'm just going to try to get it to where you can see the numbers. Okay. Let me pull this back a little bit. Okay. Now, for the base, now you notice that the top is kind of a shallow top. It's only about a 1/2 inch. That's why the paper for the top is a lot smaller. But this is going to actually be 1 inch tall all the way around. So let me grab my stylus, and we are going to be scoring at the 1/2 inch mark, and also at the 1 1/2 inch mark. Okay, now I'm going to be making this box a little sturdy, so it's not going to have a raw edge on the top part of the box, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to do the same on all 4 sides, 1/2 inch and 1 1/2 inch. Okay, turn your paper, 1/2 inch and 1 1/2 inch. Okay. All right. I've got all of this scored, and now I'm going to take my designer series paper, and I'm going to be scoring this at 1/2 inch and at 1 inch. All the way around. Okay. Okay, and now we're done with our scoreboard. And we're going to put that away for now, just until I get, put this, the top part I'm putting aside, and I'm going to be working on the bottom part. Now, the easiest way that I have found to do this box is to cut off these little corners, these little square corners on every corner. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to, I think I can see, if you might be able to see it better here. Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and cut off to the score line from here to here. So pretty much when you see the little square, it's got the score lines on it still. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the score lines off here and here. Okay, on every corner. Okay, and now the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to be cutting these 2 off, but while I do that, I'm going to be making a little notch in these longer rectangles, and then going ahead and cutting that off like this. Okay, so I'm going to turn this, I'm going to make a notch like this in the rectangle, and then cut off right here. So that leaves me with a corner like that, and I'll do that on every corner. Notch into the long rectangle, and then completely cut off the rectangle that's next to it. Notching in and cutting off. Notching in and cutting off. Okay. Notching in and cutting off. And one more. Notching in and then cutting off. Oh, not one more, two more. Okay, this is the last one. I missed one here. Okay, there we go. All right, let me notch that better. Okay, this is what you'll have when you're all done. Let me get rid of these scraps here. And now you can go ahead and fold and burnish all of your score lines, and that's what I'm going to do with the bone folder. Okay, now I've got them all burnished really well, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut up one side and the other side of that score line, okay? And then I'm going to do the same on this side, cutting up one side and the other side. And then I'm going to just go ahead and cut that off. You can yank it off if you want to. I think I'll cut it off to make it look neater. Alright, and I'm going to flip it over and do the same. I'm going on one side of that score line and then the other side. And then I'll do the same here. One side of the score line and then the other side. Okay, and let's trim this off. Alright, let's get rid of all of these little scraps here. Now your box should look like this. Okay, now let's put some adhesive on here. I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet, and I'm going to bring in some fast fuse if it behaves itself. And I'm just going to put fast fuse on all of these flaps. Oh, yeah, I'll grab my other one. Okay. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and put the box together. I did it a couple of different ways before, but this way is okay too. Go ahead and put your box together, and then you can put some more adhesive on it if you want to. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use some tear and tape for this, for the insides. Okay, now let me just, if I can get it in there. How about if I tear a piece? Pretty much don't have a choice. I have to tear. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a little piece of tear and tape on every one of these flaps on the inside. And I'll tear I think. Sometimes I need my my little paper piercing tool to do this. Okay, you see how I'm folding this edge in? Now we've got a nice edge. We don't have that rough edge by folding that one last flap in. That's why I made it the size I made it. Okay, and we're going to fold this one in, and we're going to take this off. Oh, good. And fold that in. Okay. Sometimes I need my paper piercing tool. My fingernails just don't want to get under it. Okay. Okay, so now we have all of our flaps folded, and I'm just going to burnish them down, make sure they stay folded, and then I can put my piece of soap, my bar soap, in there, and it fits perfectly. And now we'll work on the lid. Okay, so we've already got all of our score lines on this lid, and we're going to pretty much do the same thing with this lid by cutting off the corner pieces first on the score line. all four corners. And then we're going to do the same. I am going to just go ahead and notch this longer flap and then cut off the square that's next to it. Okay, I will notch the other way and then pretty much just cut off that square that's next to it. And we've got them all now. Okay, and so your box lid should look like this. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and burnish all of these score lines that I made. Now what you're going to need to do is, I'm going to fold these flaps in like that. What I need to do is I need to measure the middle of these flaps so that I can make sort of a guideline for myself. And I'm going to do that with my ruler, and I am going to use a pencil, and this is going to be just a little bit more than 3 inches. So I'm going to center the 3-inch mark in between these two score lines here, this score line here and that score line here. And I'm going to make a mark at the 1.5 inch. Okay, can you see that? This mark is at 1.5 inch here. And then I'm going to do that on all 4 corners, just kind of eyeballing it mostly, but I just want to get that middle part in the center here because I'm going to draw a line because I am going to be punching some holes to hold the ribbon. And I'm going to be using the new trio punch that Stampin' Up has. Oh, that Stampin' Up brought out in their holiday catalog last year, last season, and they brought it back for in the occasions catalog, and that was wonderful because it's a wonderful punch. And now you see I'm drawing this line, which I'm going to be erasing, but I'm drawing a line just so that I can have a guide for this curvy trio punch. And to see this little notch here, this little hole, it's an oblong, it's an elongated hole. That's what I'm going to be punching out. Now, on this punch, there is a center line here, and so that's why I needed to draw my line here so that I could center it up to this line here and punch. And that way, my punch is going to be right in the center here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and punch that again, line it up with that center line, and punch it again, and all four of those longer flaps are going to be punched. Okay, now let me take that away. I can go ahead and cut. I could have done this earlier, but I decided to do this last. I'm going to go ahead and cut these little score lines off. Okay, on this side and on this side. And then I'm going to flip it over and cut the score lines off on this side and on this side. Okay. And on this side and this side. Okay. And now your box should look like this with the flaps on either side. Okay, now let's get our craft sheet out again because we're going to be using some Snail adhesive. That's kind of really all we need is Snail adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and put some Snail adhesive just a little bit on each of these corners here. Well, actually, I can go ahead and put it all the way down here, kind of close to the hole. Okay. All right, and then flip it over, and I'm going to put Snail adhesive on all of these little flaps here. Now see, I can do that because I'm using this silicone craft sheet, and these flaps are not going to stick to it. That's what I love about that silicone craft sheet. Now let's make our box. like this. We're going to just stick our flaps in like that and like this. And yeah, it's kind of sticky, but that's okay. You can work your way through it. Okay, we're sticking the flaps inside like this. All right. And now let's fold all of these flaps over, and they should fold nicely on themselves because DSP and Snail adhesive work good together. Okay, you don't really need that strong of an adhesive when you're just working with DSP, although you could use Fuse if you want to. Okay, so now I've got the lid to my box, and it fits on there perfectly. Now let's add our ribbon. Now I have cut a piece about 30 inches long. You might not need that much, but I find that I can work better with it when it's about 30 inches long. And I'm going to take, and I cut a little angle on this so I can feed it through that hole. Oops. Feeding it through this hole here. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I am feeding it through this hole, she says. Okay, and now let's make it even on the top. Okay, all right, now it's even on the top. Okay, now let's put it over our box. All right, now be very gentle so that you don't rip. But what you're going to do is you're going to cross it like this, okay, and let it sit on itself like that. Okay, not too tight. Now you're just going to very gently open it up so that you can take your ribbon and feed it through these holes. Now the easiest way I found to do it is just to take your paper piercing tool and just pull it up like that, okay, on that side. And I'm going to take my paper piercing tool, you see that, and I'm just going to bring that up like that. Okay, and now very gently, so you don't rip the sides out, kind of straighten this out, kind of center this in the middle if you can on this side here, on the bottom side. All right, and once you've got that done, it's not really going to sit flat in, but that's okay because it's going to be really pretty. Oh, I forgot. I want to go ahead and put my ribbon underneath this straight ribbon across here. I want to put that ribbon under there, and I want to put this ribbon under here. And then I want to make my bow. But first I'm going to make a knot. And isn't this gorgeous, gorgeous ribbon? This is the glimmer, or I think glitter ribbon. Hang on a second. It is called glitter ribbon, and it is in the color Pool Party. I believe this is Pool Party. Yes, Pool Party. Okay. It's so pretty. Beautiful shade of blue. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot like that. If I want to, I can have. Okay, and then I'll just cut it. I should use my other scissors for this, my ribbon scissors. But they actually cut pretty good. The paper snips do. Okay, here we go. That's it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a little tag on it, a very tiny tag, because I don't want to take away from this beautiful lid, this beautiful paper. So what I've decided to do is use a very small sentiment from the banner banter, and this one says "Just for you." I'm using this one here. Okay, sorry about that glare. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and use Pool Party ink for this. And I'm going to stamp it like that, and I'm going to punch out with my little banner punch and make a little banner out of it. Okay. And I think what I'm also going to do, if I can find it, I found it. I'm going to just go ahead and use a little piece of Lost Lagoon, because it's kind of the color that's the darkest colors on the inside, although they don't say it's Lost Lagoon. It really does look nice together with this pool party. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sponge and just lightly sponge the edge of this little tag. And yes, it is very, very small. And you can use a bigger tag on this if you want. And I'm going to take a glue dot, a mini glue dot, and my paper piercing tool. And I'm going to grab a glue dot and I'm going to put it right here on the corner. And then I'm going to take this and I am just going to overlap slightly. Okay. And then I'm going to take another glue dot. And I'm going to put this on the back. And I'm just going to set this in here underneath the ribbon. And then I am done. Okay, let me close this up. Isn't that pretty? My friends are going to love the soap, but I think they might like the box even more. So I hope that you try this. And if you need any of the tools and supplies that I used in this video, please go to my website at www.geamazingpapercrafts.stampinup.net. And if you have any questions about any of these products, please send me a little email through my website. So once again, this is Jeanette with Geamazing Paper Crafts, and you make it a great day. Bye-bye.